Hey, it's Chuck Armstrong with Loudwire Nights, and this is Loudwire Nights on Demand. I gotta say, it was an absolute privilege to get a hang with Head from Korn and talk about Korn, but also talk about his record label and his latest signing, Zahna. And yes, Zahna joined us for the conversation too. This aired on Thursday, September 26th. Let's go. I am beyond excited for tonight's special guests because we're bridging two worlds, I would say. The world of new, exciting rock and roll and the world of long-standing veteran and also exciting rock and roll. I always say it's a good time to be a rock fan these days, and tonight is just one more reason why I believe that. Hanging with us tonight is Zahna, and joining her is Brian Head Welch from Korn. Guys, it's so good to have you hanging tonight.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I thought you were going to say new and then old, so thank you for being...
That's right. Yes.
That was very kind of you.
I choose my words wisely. Yes. So listen right out of the gate, man. Let's catch listeners up. Why we're hanging with both of you tonight. Head, you own and operate the label XOVR Records, and Zahna, just a few weeks ago, it was announced you're partnering with this label. New music is out. And just a lot going on. So, Head, let's start with you, man. How did you first hear of Zahna? What drew you to bring her into the XOVR family?
I honestly was, my other project, Love and Death, played a show, and I actually saw her perform at that. It was like a little festival, and I saw her perform, and I was like, man, that voice, you know? And I told you, Zahna, at that show, I was like, hey, I really like your stuff. I remember I said something to you. And
yeah. So, I had my own version of events that night. I'll share later because I was just like, why is Brian Head Welch summoning me? I don't understand.
Well, I got to hear this because I've just never gone, wow, that was she's awesome. And then I think I saw something, I don't know, life, got busy. And then when I started the label with one of my managers, they hit us up, and I realized that Zahna was, I don't know, I'm just so, my brain's scattered a lot. And so it took a couple of days for me. I was like, oh, that's that connection there at that festival. And then I listened to her album that I hadn't heard from 2021, right?
It was recorded in 2020, but it dropped 2023. So it must have been around that. But I did a couple singles before then from that record.
So the that album is so amazing, and I think it's going to keep growing over time. And so once I heard that record, started talking to them, they reached out to us when they heard about our new label, and that was it. We just started talking, and here we are. She's doing another record with us.
Right on. I love excited. Hearing that. So Zahna, you have your own recollection of meeting Head.
Yeah. So I think it was 2021. We actually did play that event. I think actually you were speaking that night, Brian, and the festival was so behind. I actually, my set ended up being your time to speak. I was like supposed to perform earlier, but they were so behind schedule, and so that's why you were there in the crowd. And I remember just having a really hard day that day. I felt really sick, and I had like a skeleton crew. Like I was setting up merch, and I was like trying just so hard to get it all done so we could prepare for the show. And I didn't even have a merch person that day. And I remember feeling like really ill, really exhausted, just because I have health problems. But the show was delayed, and I was just like, all my energy was super sapped, and I was like, just in a bad mood. And we were like, leave it all on stage. Let's just do this. Brian's over there side stage, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. This just adds to the stress. But by the end of it, you were summoning me backstage. I didn't even think I did great that night, honestly. And you kind of summoned me backstage, and I was like, you were just talking to me, and I think I did a couple events with Whosoevers before that, so maybe that's how we kind of got more connected that way, since you're associated with them. Right. But yeah, I was just amazed that I didn't know what I did to warrant your attention. And so I was nervous, but I was really excited, and I told my husband, and I was like, this is cool. And then we had Matt Baird from Spoken be like, I don't know if I'm supposed to share this, but Matt Baird was like, what's your PayPal? And I was like, why? And we gave him the PayPal, and we got a donation, and it was supposed to be anonymous, but I saw your name on there, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I just don't understand. So,
I remember that now. I totally spaced that.
Yeah, you probably forgot, but it meant a whole lot to me. It actually paid for one of my campaigns after that. I used that for a campaign for one of my singles towards it. And I was just so confused because I loved the Whosoever's movement. I knew that we were in the same circles, but, mostly I was really excited about the Whosoever's because I am a public speaker too. And I was like, man, it would be just so cool to get involved with that organization one day. And then now we're actually, making a new record together, which is like the ultimate to me. So that's going to come out next year. And we just finished up vocals on that. And there's a lot to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was impacted by your performance that day, and you don't have to have everything going perfect. It's like you have that when you have that raw talent, you can have a crappy show and it still sounds awesome to people. So yeah, but I know how that feels, so I feel your pain.
Yeah. That was a chaotic day for sure. Yeah. But you never know what those friendships or connections are going to do years down the road. And when Crossover reached out back in December, I was just like, bro, I was really cautious about it at first because I was like, dude, I don't want to get disappointed again. I've been disappointed so much these last couple of years with things that I wanted to be a part of. And constantly, like, I knew other industry professionals were looking at me. I knew they were looking at me. I mean, I had Howard Benson become my friend, asked to be my friend on Facebook. I knew he was looking at me, and but nobody really came through, and it was really discouraging until I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do the dang thing, and I did it independently, and we had really good success with Stronger Than Death, and I'm just so glad that I put it out, and here we are, just trying to make a 2.0 even better on this next one.
Yeah, I love that. And so the kind of the first taste of that 2.0 is the new song Pile of Pills that came out along with the announcement of you joining Crossover Records. Zahna, you kind of just briefly mentioned you have health issues, but I know this is a deeply personal song for you, right?
Yes. 2021 was actually one of the hardest years of my life, I want to say. And that's the year Brian and I met face to face. And, just all these things were impacting my will to live. I had just had a kidney transplant a couple years before. I still wasn't really out of the clear with that. And I take a lot of medications to sustain me, medications I need to stay alive. And I was constantly getting sick. I almost at a point regretted my transplant because I was getting so insanely sick afterwards. I think now they just over medicated me, I think, but it took a while to feel normal. And on top of that was so much financial stress with all the payments. And, the music industry was basically non-existent because of the pandemic. I remember I invested 20 G's into Zahna in February of 2020. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take over again, baby. It's going to be great. Yeah. I'm finally healthy enough to tour again, and we're going to make this happen. And 4 days into my date in March, that's when everything went kaput. And I was like, how am I going to pay for all this stuff? Just absolute fear of dying every day in terms of I could get COVID and die here because I'm immunosuppressed. I just don't know how I would do. And I know people that passed away too. So there was, my catalytic converter got stolen in our tour van, and it was just insanity for years straight, where it was every day you're just in survival cycle. So when I wrote Pile of Pills, it was just the peak of my insanity. And I was just so mad that anything I did seemed to not work. And it was like that for years. So just darkness a lot of those times. And Pile of Pills was actually written in 2021, and it just came out a month ago. And I'm so stoked though, because if people like that's 3 years old, and the new stuff I just tracked 2 weeks ago, they're gonna awesome. See how the vocals have evolved. Yeah.
I love that. Head, do you remember the first time you heard Pile of Pills?
So we started talking to them, and they sent over the track of, I think you had just finished it, or was it, when did you write that and record it, son?
I wrote and recorded it in 2021, and Stronger Than Death was a year before that. And I didn't get to release Stronger Than Death till 2023 because I was trying to get the funding for it independently, working 3 jobs for 3 years straight. I didn't know what it was to have a day off. So I was waiting to release Pile of Pills, but when they kind of started talking to us, Stronger Than Death had only been out for 8 months or so. And my plan was to put out Pills next. And I was just waiting for the right time, the right opportunity. And when they wanted to do some stuff, I was like, hey, what do you think about this new single that I was going to put out? And I sent you guys the Dropbox links, and you can take it from there.
You recorded it in 21 or 23?
21. Mm-hmm,
wow.
2021. Okay. Yeah, it's an old song, actually.
Yeah, and she was like, "Okay, this is different from my others a bit. It's a lot heavier. It's a lot more screaming." And when I heard it, I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And I found out what it was about. Then with the chorus and those vocals on the chorus, I'm just like I keep saying, but I'm a sucker for just a incredible, powerful vocals, man. And I've tried singing on my projects and everything. I love vocals. I don't like doing it myself, but I just really love listening to good vocalists, and so the power on that song was so amazing, and it's kind of like so different from a lot of our other tracks. Even the new stuff, it's so much heavier. I don't know. Are you going to have like songs that heavy on the new record? You got some?
Yeah, I'm waiting. Kellen wants me to wait till a couple mixes roll in to send you guys the new album demo folder. You obviously know a couple because you've heard them already, but the new ones we just did, there's a pretty rowdy one that's pretty heavy, that's more shock value. So other than that, though, I mean, compared to Stronger Than Death, like there's basically no screams on Stronger Than Death, and I kind of really wanted to do it, but Kellen's like, no, we need to showcase your voice more, and I'm like, but okay. And then I went to Corey for pills. I was like, Corey, let me do what I want. He's like, okay. And here we are with this one. So we need both. We need a Kellen and a Corey on the project, which is why they're both producing the next album. A couple of tracks Corey did. And Kellen finally opened up. The heaviest track on the album is a Kellen track. He's like, okay, you want to do screaming? I'm gonna let you do screaming. We're gonna write a track for you. So I'm like, okay, well, that'll tie it all kind of together, I think. But there's at least definitely more screaming on most of the songs actually now, which I love.
I am excited. I didn't know this.
I know. I need to send you the folder.
Real-time excitement here.
And then we the last song we wrote a couple weeks ago, like literally we were running out of time. It was this whole mess of Pat was supposed to come up to help with the writing, and both of our vehicles just crapped out. So he had to stay back in Texas to like figure all that out. And he was on Skype? Oh my God, sorry. That's so ancient. He was on Zoom with us.
Was it MySpace?
Right.
That's right.
I still use Skype to meet with voice students, so whatever. But yeah, and the last song we wrote was it's like a rock ballad with like Weekend vibes on it, and I can't wait. So people are gonna get kind of a taste of everything on this album, and I want to showcase what I can do. I feel like I can kind of do a lot. So this album will be a big mixture of that.
That's exciting. Yeah. So there's a lot on the horizon for you, Zahna. I mean, it sounds like.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, Chuck, it's like this is kind of like a dream deal for me because I've always had so many insane ideas, and I just have to find people like crazy enough to go along with it with me, And everything I showed to Brian, pretty much almost everything I showed him, he's like, that's awesome. I love it. And I'm like, cool. This is so different from people trying to tell me how to run my business.
I think the only comments I had was pills. I just wanted to hear the screams clearer and the lyrics a little clearer, and but everything else was freaking amazing.
But that's like a good edit. Like like that's fine. Like you only made it better, whereas like some people are like, I hate the whole idea, scrap it, and it's like, but I see the potential in this stuff. So Brian's been the best boss I've pretty much ever had at this point. So.
Nice.
Boss. I feel like, I don't feel like a boss. Put it
yeah. Mr. Welch, and the next question is for you. How long have you been operating Crossover Records? How long has it been in existence?
I mean, it's just coming up on a year, I think, pretty soon. So, and me and one of my managers we're just like, you know what? And we started talking to Spoken, which JR from my other band, Love and Death, is in, and they were looking to do a record, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll help them out. And I hit up my management, and I was like, I think I'm going to do this. And he goes, well, why don't do you want to try a label and print and just see what happens and go slow with it? And I was like, I've tried that before in 2008, Driven Music Group, and do not start a company in the middle of a freaking financial meltdown in the world. That's my advice to everybody watching. But so yeah, I did Driven Music Group, and that tanked in like 2 years. And so I was like, I don't know, is there another way? And he's like, yeah, well, there's all kinds of ways. And we kept talking, and then I just said, let's just go for it, man. Because I always remember the people that started Walmart, and I heard that over and over they failed over and over. Like I think more than two bankruptcies, or at least more than one. And then they finally got Walmart up, you know, and look what Walmart is now. So
Mhm.
I'm in that mindset of keep trying, keep knocking until that door pops open, you know. And so yeah, I'm going for it. And you know, at the end of the day, like I'm a fan of these artists, so if even it helps them out a little bit and gains them a little bit more exposure, then you know I think it was worth it. You know, but hopefully a lot more will happen. But I got to look at it like that because I just I'm not in it to get rich. You know, I've already been in the music industry 30 years, and we've been very blessed. You know, me and my brother. So it's just I just want to help these bands, and I want to hopefully hear them say, "Look, this happened, and we grew." You know.
Simple as that, man. I love that. In addition to this label, in addition to this work with Zahna, Head, you're on the road with Korn, Gojira, Spirit Box. We recently caught up with Joe Duplantia of Gojira on the show, and he covered all the ground, getting ready for the tour. Hopefully, we'll get Courtney from Spirit Box on too, man. But I know everyone's really excited for this tour. I mean, seems like it's been announced for a while. And so I know fans are chomping at the bit to see you guys on the road.
Man, it's just, I'm telling you, like the rock music is thriving right now. Everyone's doing so much better than they were like 2021 even. I mean, we're seeing like crazy numbers. We're seeing sellouts, and it's before Gojira played the Olympics.
Right. Yeah.
And we're getting like more headlining slots where it's just everything is so great for Korn right now and many other bands. I'm seeing, the Linkin Park comeback. I know it's controversial, but I freaking love that song and I love her voice with them. And Slipknot's, I see all these sellouts on their tour. Deftones freaking killing it. Biscuit, it's just
Yeah.
it's amazing to see whenever they say rock is dead, just give it a couple years after that, and it's probably going to resurge because I find that when a lot of people say something, the opposite happens.
Yeah. Well, and you list all those bands, and then, here we are talking to Zahna and excited about the future there too. And so like, that's what keeps me excited, man, seeing all of these bands like Korn, like Biscuit. I mean, Creed's had the year of their lives, this year. But then to also be celebrating a crazy powerful song like Pile of Pills, and to be excited about, the rest of that, the album that's to come. I mean, I said at the start, and I'll keep saying it, man, but it's a great time to be a rock fan right now.
Yes, I'm stoked, dude. I did not think that, in my 50s, it would be like some of the biggest stuff that we're doing,
Yeah.
I thought when I left Korn, I was 35 years old and I started trying to do music on my own. And I started hitting close to 40 and nothing was popping. And all these flaky people in the music industry, and my music wasn't good, and I thought it was good. and and I'm like, well, okay, there goes that. I'm bummed, but I'm okay. I guess I'm going to do something else because I'm pretty much washed up at 40. I didn't see all this stuff coming. I just couldn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a negative Nancy, I guess you could say. Or the other guys like Philly and Monkey and all them were always like, we're going to be the biggest in the world. We're going to do this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. I was always, I was confident, but I was always like, I didn't want to get my hopes up. So that's where I'm at right now. Yes, I'm just so stoked where rock and roll is and metal and I just want to ride this wave and see what Zana will do and her husband Nesdum and Dose on the label. Spoken came out first, and we're just gonna ride it and see what happens and have fun, man. We're gonna ride this wave and as long as it'll last and have a blast,
That's great, man. Head, can I ask what's on the horizon for Korn as far as new music goes?
We're just it's such a weird situation right now where we have no new music out and things are just like cooking. They're just they're slamming. It's like it doesn't even matter. And so we're just kind of holding. We have some stuff that we've been working on, and we're just kind of holding it close, and we want it to feel like the best it can be. You know, I was going to use the word perfect, but I don't know if anything's perfect. But so I don't really know what we're doing with new music. I know that we have a lot of stuff, and we're just kind of like waiting because we're just so busy traveling now, you know, and touring, and all this stuff is opened up for us. And so, yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. I just know that we're going to keep working, and it's coming, and I just don't know when.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Zahna, Head, thank you guys so much for hanging tonight. Listen, listeners can catch up on everything going on in Zahna's world at zahnaofficial.com. That's ZAHNA official.com. Stay caught up with everything going on in Korn's world, kornofficial.com. Keep your eyes peeled on Crossover Records, man. I mean, it's an exciting place to be for sure. And I got to say, you both have mentioned the Whosoevers a few times. You know, Sonny Sandoval is a good friend of this show. He's been on a bunch, and so I feel like we need to have a conversation about the Whosoevers one day, man.
Yeah, man. You hit us up anytime, you know.
Right on. Cannot wait to see all that the future holds for you, Zahna. Head, can't wait to catch you and Korn on the road, and both of you are welcome back anytime, together, separately, whatever you want. You know, Zahna, you don't have to be hanging out with the boss all the time.
Hey, I like my boss. He's cool.
Fair enough. Thank you guys so much. This was great.
Thank you so much, Chuck. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. See you guys. Thank you.
That wraps up this episode of Loudwire Nights on Demand. Stay caught up with everything happening in the world of rock and metal on the Loudwire app and at loudwire.com.